Yes, I can see you. See Anna and the rest of the people in the back.
Yes. Today
It's
we also
almost
have
8 o'clock.
yes, Ajahn. We also have two members of the Sangha with us, including Prat Kanti.
Yes.
Ajahn, could we please request to pay respects to Ajahn to start the session?
Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to invite the Sangha to pay respects to Prat Ajahn first.
Yes, I can see the Sangha.
Brothers and sisters, could we please put our palms together and pay respect to Tan Ajahn? First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Ajahn, we have around 60 participants tonight with around 40 females.
20 males. So the ladies are more interested in the Dhamma teaching than the men.
Yes, Ajahn,
Okay.
so can we please invite Ajahn to speak the Dhamma to us?
Okay. Well, let me start with the good news. I want to bring you some good news tonight. Excuse me. I have no problem with my throat. Well, what I was going to say that it's good news for you all, that you are all blessed with the four great fortune. The first great fortune is having a human birth, being born as a human being. Because if you are born as an animal, you will not be able to study the teaching of the Buddha, and you cannot practice the teaching of the Buddha. So you cannot be enlightened if you are an animal. But when you are a human being, like you are now, you can study and you can practice following the Dhamma teaching. So this is a great fortune, the first great fortune. The second great fortune is to have discovered or found the Dhamma teaching. You need the Dhamma teaching to lead you to enlightenment. If there is no Dhamma teaching in this world, nobody will be able to become enlightened by themselves. Only the Buddha who can teach himself to become enlightened. All other human beings have to rely on the Buddha's teaching. All of the Buddha's noble disciples, all the Arahant disciples, they all have to listen to the teaching of the Buddha and then practice following the teaching of the Buddha. So this is the second great fortune, to have found or to have discovered the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha. The third great fortune is to be alive, is to be breathing. If you're not alive today, you cannot be here tonight. In order to be able to become enlightened, you have to be alive so that you can listen or study the Dhamma teaching. And after you have learned the Dhamma teaching, then you can apply the Dhamma teaching in your practice. So this is the third great fortune, being alive. The fourth great fortune is to have the time and the effort to study and practice the Dhamma teaching, like you have tonight. You have the time and you have the effort to bring yourself to Wat Yannasangwararam so that you can listen to the Dhamma talk and you can meditate. Because if you don't have the time or the effort, even though you might be a human being, you might have found the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha, you are still alive, but you will not be able to utilize your great fortune if you don't have the time and the effort to study and to practice. So it's all up to you. You're the only person who can find the time and the effort to study and to practice the Dhamma teaching. If you do find the time and have the effort and practice, then the result of your practice will eventually appear. Because this is the way how people become enlightened. From the time when the Buddha first gave his first Dhamma discourse, there were 5 monks who listening to the Dhamma talk is studying. And after having listened, they apply it in their practice. They have already developed dana, which is charity. They have already developed sila, which is keeping the precepts. They have developed samadhi. They have a calm and peaceful mind. So all they need to do is to develop vipassana. And vipassana is to come to seeing clearly the truth that the Buddha has expounded, the truth that the Buddha had discovered. That is the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So once they have heard the Four Noble Truths, which are in their mind, in their heart. So when they look inside their mind and inside their heart, they can see the Four Noble Truths. So when they have suffering, they know it is caused by their own desire. And they know that the way to eliminate their desire is to have insight into the nature of things, to see things as they are, namely impermanent, suffering, and doesn't belong to them. They cannot control or manage or tell them to be like this or like that. Everything are like natural processes, like the wind, the rain. They are not something that we can control or manage. So when they see this truth, they then get rid of their desire. and let things be. Let the sun rise, let the sun set, let the wind blow, let the earth shake, let the flooding happen, because there's nothing they can do. The only thing they can do is to let go of their desire to manage these things. When they have let go of their desire, their mind will become peaceful. They have achieved the cessation of suffering. So this is the goal of Buddhism, the goal of practicing the teaching of the Buddha is to get rid of our desire that we have in our mind and heart. This desire will make us feel unhappy, make us feel sad, make us worry, make us fearful, afraid, because we still want things to be in a certain way, which usually doesn't happen. For instance, we like to have longevity. We want to live forever. That's not possible. We want to have good health, no sickness. That's not possible. We don't want to die. That's not possible. So if we can see the truth, see the three characteristics of existence, of things around us, that they are all impermanent, they can bring us sadness or suffering if we cling or if we have desire for them to be this or to be that. They are anatta, meaning they are not under our control. We cannot tell them to be like this or like that. We might be able to do it sometime, but not all the time. Like right now, we can control or manage the body to a certain extent. But when the body gets sick, we cannot stop it from getting sick. The body is continually getting older and older. We cannot stop it from getting older. And eventually the body will die. But the death of the body is not the death of the mind. The mind, where we reside, doesn't die with the body. So right now, due to delusion, we reside ourselves in the body, when in fact our residence is in the mind that doesn't die. But our delusion misleads us to think that we reside in the body. Mislead us to think that the body is ourselves. So when the body dies, we become sad, unhappy, painful, we become fearful. So this is where we have to develop vipassana, to see things as they really are. The Buddha had discovered that the mind is not the body, and that we doesn't live in the body. We live in the mind that doesn't die, the mind that came to take possession of this body at the time of conception, and after it has being born, the mind and the body, according to the delusion of the mind, becomes one. So this is where we have to come and correct this illusion. We have to separate the mind from the body. And the method to do this is to meditate, is to develop the samatha bhavana, meditating for calm, and develop the vipassana bhavana, meditating to develop insight. We need both of this in order to see the truth clearly. So the first step is we must develop samatha bhavana. In order to be able to develop samatha bhavana, we need mindfulness or sati. Sati is the Dhamma that will stop the mind from thinking, that will bring the mind into calm, into concentration, into oneness, into singularity, into the real mind, into the one who knows, which is the characteristic of the mind, is knowing. Right now we don't see the knowing or the knower. We see the thoughts. We've been constantly thinking from the time we are born until the time we are done. We might stop thinking sometime when we go to sleep, but the rest of the time we are constantly thinking, and we can only see the thought, not the knower behind the thought. When we stop the mind from thinking, then we'll see the knower. We'll see that this is the mind, and we'll understand that this mind is not the body. It is this mind who came to take possession of this body, and it's this mind who will lose this body when the body dies. So this is the first thing you want to do, is to separate the mind from the body by developing mindfulness. Mindfulness is to concentrate or focus your mind only on one object, such as the recitation of a mantra. In Thailand, we use the name of the Buddha. We keep reciting mentally, Bhutto, 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 from the time we get up to the time we go to sleep. Because when we can maintain the recitation of Bhutto, the mind cannot think. And when the mind cannot think continually, it will eventually stop and become concentrated into the knower. Then the meditator will then see the real face of the mind, which is knowing. That's all there is to the mind. It knows, but it is being deluded to follow the thoughts. Whatever the thoughts say, it believes in. The thoughts say, this body is I, this body is mine. The mind believes the thought. So whenever things happen to the body, like getting old, getting sick, or die, the mind becomes visceral, because the mind doesn't want the body to get old, to get sick or die. So when you meditate and your mind have temporarily withdrawn into itself, the awareness of the body and everything else will disappear. All you have left is the mind. So you know that even if there's no body, the mind still exists. After you have experienced this truth, when you come out of your meditation, when you come out of your concentrated state, when you withdraw from that state and begin to be aware of your body and be aware of things around you, what you want to do next is to keep reminding your mind that the mind is not the body, and that the mind cannot keep the body forever. Also, everything else that the mind has acquired, be it fortune, money, wealth, or status, or fame, or the happiness that the mind can acquire through the body, they are all temporary, they are impermanent. One day, sooner or later, the mind will lose everything. If the mind is constantly reminded of this fact, the mind can then make preparation for this eventuality. When things happen, when the mind loses something, it will not have any desire to have it back, because the mind doesn't really need it anyway. If the mind have developed samatha bhavana, have developed samadhi, the mind will be peaceful, content, and happy. So it knows that it doesn't need anything to make it happy, because nothing in this world can make it forever happy, because everything in this world is temporary. So this is the development of vipassana, to constantly remind the mind to let go, not to cling to the body and everything. Because by clinging, it will only cause the mind suffering, sadness, misery, fear, worry, anxiety. So this is the development of vipassana. You can do it effectively only after you have samatha bhavana, after you have experienced the true mind, seen the true mind, know that the true mind is not the body, and experience the peace and happiness that arise from this experience. Then you will know that you can let go of everything, because everything that you have is not as good as what you have from your samatha bhavana, from your peace of mind. So this is very important. You first must have something better. You must have a better kind of happiness before you can give up the lesser happy kind of happiness. Because if you don't have this happiness that arises from peace of mind, from samadhi, you cannot give up the happiness that you have through your body. So this is the reason why the Buddha said you must first develop samadhi. If you have no samadhi, your mind will be constantly desiring, wanting, hungering for this or that. But when you have samadhi, your mind becomes peaceful and calm. Your mind will become content. It will be full. It doesn't feel like it needs anything. Once it has this fullness, this contentment, then it can give up everything, especially seeing the result for not giving up, for clinging. When you cling to something and when you lose it can make you become very, very unhappy, very miserable. So this is the first thing that you have to develop, is samadhi. And samadhi can only happen if you have mindfulness. So you need to first develop mindfulness, which you can do all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. You don't have to go to the temple, you don't have to be alone, but it will help, it will be a great help if you can be alone, if you can go to the temple. But if you cannot yet go to the temple or be alone for a long time, you can still develop mindfulness. If you can recite the mantra, when you don't have to use your thoughts, keep reciting your mantra. Don't let your mind think aimlessly and emotionally, because it's useless and it's harmful to your state of mind. It can only make you feel miserable, make you feel unhappy, make you feel discontent. So you can try develop mindfulness from the time you get up. When you open your eyes and be aware of yourself, start to recite the mantra. You might be able to stop if you have to think something important, like what's today, what do you have to do today. Then you can stop the mantra temporarily. After you have thought out what you have to do for the day, and as you go prepare yourself for the day's activity, you keep reciting the mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto. If you can do this, your mind will not wander aimlessly. Your mind will be stable, will be fixed in the present. And this is important because the mind can only become peaceful and calm in the present, not in the past, not in the future. The mind has to be in the present in order for it to become peaceful and calm and content and experience the kind of happiness that excels all other kinds of happiness. So mindfulness is very important. Never overlook it. The Buddha said mindfulness is like compared to the footprint of an elephant. The footprint of an elephant is larger than all the other animals. It can cover all the footprints of all the other animals. Such is the importance of mindfulness. If you don't have mindfulness, you cannot have samadhi. If you cannot have samadhi, you cannot develop vipassana or insight to be able to see the Four Noble Truths within your mind. And in order to develop mindfulness effectively, you need to be alone. So you might have to do this on your day off. when you don't have to go to work. Try to set aside all other kind of activities and devote all your time of your day off to this activity, to this development of mindfulness. In order to do it productively, you need the support of your Atta Sila, your 8 precepts. Because your 8 precepts will prevent you from engaging in other kinds of activities, such as sleeping with your spouse, having food after midday, looking or watching all sort of entertainment, or going out to various places for fun, for enjoyment. If you maintain the 8 precepts, then you won't have to waste your time, lose your time with these activities. And when you sleep, you should sleep on a hard floor, because it will not make you sleep too long. The body only needs 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But if you sleep on a comfortable bed, after the body wakes up, you don't want to get up. So you sleep for another 3 or 4 hours. You will lose this precious time that you want to use for your development of mindfulness and meditation. Before you can keep the 8 precepts, you must first be able to keep the 5 precepts. And in order to be able to keep the 5 precepts, you must first be charitable. You have to like to give away things. You don't want to possess, you don't want to acquire, but you want to lessen your possession, your wealth. You want only to keep just enough for your existence. Anything more than that will be a burden to yourself, because you have to look after it, and you might want to use it to make you happy. When you have money, you can go outside for fun, for enjoyment, for pleasure. So if you use money this way, you won't have the time to come and meditate. And when you use money, then you will have to make money. You have to go to work. And when you go to work, make money, sometimes you might have to cheat. You might have to break the 5 precepts, because you want to get a lot of money and get it easily. But if you don't have the desire to make money, to be rich, to use money to buy happiness for you, then you won't need much money. All you need is the money for keeping your body alive, which doesn't take much money. Then you will not have to be forced to break the 5 precepts. Then you'll find that keeping the 5 precepts is very simple, very easy. And once you can keep the 5 precepts, on your day off you can keep the 8 precepts. And when you can keep the 8 precepts and you can be alone, whether in the house by yourself or go to some place where you can be alone, like to a temple, then you will have nobody to disrupt your development of mindfulness. And when your mindfulness is continually developed, you will have the ability to sit and meditate and make your mind calm and peaceful and concentrated into the one who knows. And you will experience the kind of happiness that nothing in this world can compare to. And once you have this kind of happiness, you will be energized to practice more. You will want more of this kind of happiness. Then you can give up more of what you have. You can give up more of your other kind of happiness. All you want now is to be alone, to be able to practice developing your mindfulness, maintaining your mindfulness, sitting in meditation. And after you withdraw from your meditation, you want to develop insight, instructing the mind to look at the Four Noble Truths inside your mind, because that's where the problem lies. All our suffering, all our anxiety, misery, restlessness, worry, agitation, sadness, fear, they all arise inside the mind. They are created by our own delusion. Our delusion makes us think that having things will make us happy. Having the body, having things that we can experience through our body will keep us happy. But it's only temporary. And when you can no longer have this kind of happiness, you only have sadness. So this is what you have to be able to see inside yourself. So when you no longer need anything, because needing things will only make you suffer, not make you happy, then you can give up everything. When you no longer cling or attach to anything, or have any desire for anything, then your mind will have no suffering, no stress, no depression, no sadness. Your mind will constantly be peaceful and calm and happy. This is the happiness that arises from peace of mind. So this is basically the path to enlightenment that the Buddha teaches. You have to go up from the first step to the second step, to the third to the fourth step. You cannot skip any one of these steps. If you do, you will find that you will not be able to practice successfully. It's like climbing a ladder. The ladder has many steps you have to step upon before you can go up to the top. So it is the same way with the practice for enlightenment, for the cessation of suffering, for the cessation of sadness, stress, anxiety, worry. You need to start from the bottom. You need to be charitable. You want to give away all your possessions as much as you can. You don't want to use your money to buy happiness, because the kind of happiness you get from buying with your money can be harmful to you later on when you run out of money, or when the things that you buy will leave you, because they are all impermanent and they are anatta, meaning they cannot be under your control all the time. So you should stop spending money to buy happiness. When you stop spending money to buy happiness, you don't have to make money. You don't have to work to make money. So you will have the time to keep the precepts, to meditate, to be alone. And when you have this time to study and practice, then the result of your practice will eventually appear, gradually, slowly or quickly, depends on your own ability. Some people can become enlightened in 7 days. Some people can become enlightened in 7 months, some 7 years. But eventually, they become enlightened. If the cost of enlightenment is there, that is the practice of dana, sila, samadhi, panya, or samatha bhavana, vipassana bhavana. Samatha bhavana is samadhi, vipassana bhavana is panya. So it's all up to you. You're the one who can make this happen. Nobody else can make it happen. And you have all the ingredients necessary to make it happen. You have a human birth. You have found the teaching of the Buddha. You are alive. So all you need now is the time and effort to really study and to really practice. Once you have this, then you will have the result. The result consists of the 4 paths, 4 fruits, and one nibbana. The first path and fruit is called sotapanna. The second path and fruit is called sakidakami. The third path and fruit is called anagami. And the fourth path and fruit is called arahant. Once you have arrived at the fruit of arahant, you also will proceed on to nibbana. Once you have realized nibbana, you will no longer have to take birth again. You will no longer have to come and get old, get sick and die, and be separate from your loved ones, or face the things or people that you don't like to face. It only happens when you take birth. When you don't take birth, then there is no aging, sickness and death, or separation. So this is what we call eternal happiness. Paramang sukhang means supreme happiness. It is supreme because there is no sadness, no suffering in this kind of happiness, and that is lasting. It lasts forever. So this is the thing that you should consider. You are blessed with the 4 great fortune. All you have to do now is to make this 4 great fortune into nibbana, into the cessation of suffering, into the cessation of the endless rounds of rebirth. I think I have spoken long enough, so I would like to stop for now and give you the opportunity to ask questions.
Yes, Ajahn, we have many questions today, some of them related to meditation and some of them related to applying Buddhism in their daily life. But before we start, does Ajahn need to take a break to drink some water?
Oh no, it's okay.
Alright, so Ajahn,
I have drank enough water.
Okay, Ajahn, I'll proceed to ask the first question. Can Tan Ajahn teach me a method to develop wisdom after I have a sufficient level of calmness?
You should look at the things that you cling to or you love, and look at the impermanent nature of that thing. Everything that you have, one day you will have to lose it, and before you lose it, they will be changing. Like when you buy a new car, if you use it for a while, your car will become older, and things will not be like when you have bought it new. You will have to repair it, and sometimes you might lose it if you park it somewhere, it might be stolen, for instance. So these are the impermanent things that you always have to apply to everything that you love, that you want to keep, because you cannot keep it. So when you know this, when things happen, you will not be afflicted by sadness. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is, how much calm or samatha is required, or is there any minimum stage of jhana to attain before I can start to contemplate, to develop wisdom?
Let me put it this way, the level of calm will support that particular level of wisdom, of insight. If you have 20% of calm, you have the 20% of wisdom. So you can keep moving up. From 20 you go to 30 to 40. And your ability to see things clearly will be better and quicker. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is related to jhana. The question is, how to practice to reach jhana, and how does one know which level of jhana or state of jhana he is in?
If you haven't read the book, the description of each jhana, you probably won't know which jhana you're in. But it doesn't matter, because all you want is to get to the fourth jhana, the point where your mind stops working, stop thinking. Before that, you might go through some of the jhana. The first jhana consists of, say, you still have thoughts, you still think, but you also have happiness. I can't remember all the description, you have to look up in the text. But it's not important. What's important is to be fixed with your mantra. Stay focused with your mantra, because it's your mantra that will lead you to your final destination, which is the fourth jhana. If you haven't got to the fourth jhana yet, don't stop repeating your mantra. Keep repeating. It's like eating. You don't care which level of fullness you have from eating, right? You just keep eating until you feel full. When you feel full, you stop eating. You don't have to open up the text to look, what level am I now with my eating? So it's not important to know all this information. All you need to know is that your mind has stopped thinking, and that the body sometimes disappears from your awareness. If it doesn't disappear, at least your mind is not concerned or have any contact, any reaction with your body. The body might be painful here and there, but your mind will feel comfortable. Will not be affected by the pain of your body. Or the sound you might hear will not bother your mind. So this is where you want to go, which we call ubekha. Ubekha is to being having no emotion, no reaction to anything that comes through the body. So this is where you want to get to. When you get there, you will know. So don't worry. Don't speculate. When you meditate, don't speculate, because when you start to speculate, you're stopping meditating. If you're repeating the mantra, just keep repeating it, reciting it. Don't stop. When you start to speculate, which jhana am I in now? You start thinking. When you do this, you stop meditating. You're not reciting your mantra. So you will not go further than where you are. You'll come back to your starting point. You come back to the point where you've been thinking about this and that. So be very careful not to be fooled by your curiosity or by your desire to achieve the result. When you meditate and you want to achieve your result, this is already thinking. You're not with your mantra already. So you don't worry about the result. You only worry about your mantra. You only watch whether you are reciting your mantra or not. If you do this, then your mantra will lead you to the fourth jhana eventually. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is also somewhat related to jhana. And the question is, why is it difficult to attain jhana?
Because you don't have the mindfulness strong enough to pull your mind inside. See, your mind is constantly being pushed out by your defilements, by your kilesa, your desire. Your desire keep pushing you out toward the sight, sound, smell, taste, and tactile objects. Push you out toward the physical activity. Push you out to go acquire things. You never pull your mind inside. So when you start to do it, you find it very almost impossible. It's like for a novice boxer to go and box with a heavyweight champion. When you first start boxing, you cannot face the heavyweight champion. You have to slowly develop your ability and strength first. Here I mean developing your mindfulness. So when your mindfulness becomes stronger and stronger, you'll find that it's easier to sit and become calm. And the level of calm will be deeper and deeper, until eventually when you have very strong mindfulness, then you can enter into the fourth jhana, enter into full concentration, enter into upekkha. So right now you're like a novice, starting to meditate, starting to develop mindfulness. So you must first try to develop mindfulness until you can bring your mind to the here and now, to the present, not allowing it to think aimlessly. In order to do this productively or efficiently, you need to be alone. When you're alone, then you will not be distracted by other people or things. That's why people have to become monks, because when they become monks, they can be free from all other kind of contacts. They don't have to go to work. They don't have to go to social functions. They can go and roam in the forest, be alone, and develop mindfulness. That's why only most of the people who became enlightened are monks, not lay people. Because lay people are not professional meditators. They are amateur meditators. You only meditate maybe half an hour a day. So what do you do? How can you compare to someone who meditates all day, developing mindfulness all day and night, except the time when they go to sleep? So this is what you have to put in if you want the result. Otherwise, you will just get whatever you're getting right now. But don't be disappointed, don't be discouraged. You have to encourage yourself that if you want the result, like the Buddha did, like his noble disciple did, you have to follow their path, do what they do. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is related to how long one should meditate. The question is, is it better to set an alarm clock or is it preferable to do without? And in the case of not using an alarm clock, how do I know when is the right time to end my meditation session?
Well, if you have to have a certain engagement that you have to do, then using an alarm clock can be important because you don't want to miss your engagement, like the time you have to go to work. So you might have to set an alarm clock. The drawback is when you set the alarm clock, sometimes you're not concentrating on your meditation subject, but you'll be concentrating on your alarm clock, waiting for it to sound the alarm, because your mind wants to get up, wants to stop meditating. So if you don't have any engagement, you don't have to go do something at a certain time, it's better not to it's better not to use an alarm clock. And just sit until you no longer can sit. You will know when you can no longer sit, then you will get up. That means you have exhausted your mindfulness strength. Your desire, your defilement is stronger, and it's pushing you to get up and go to do something else. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is related to restlessness in meditation. So the person noticed this pattern in his meditation. When he starts meditating, there are many thoughts, and then he noticed that there are less thoughts, and however, towards the end of the session, he noticed that there are more thoughts reappearing again. So he's asking, why does he feel more restlessness towards the end of the meditation?
Your restlessness is the result of your lack of mindfulness. When you're mindful, when you're reciting your mantra, your mind will be calm. When you forget to recite your mantra, then your restlessness will come back. So it's like a tug of war between restlessness and mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, there will be restlessness. If you have no mindfulness, then there will be restlessness. So that's why I said early on that it is very important to develop mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, you can almost entirely eliminate all your hindrances. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is, some people say meditation is 50% about relaxation. So if one can relax easily, can he also meditate easier?
Well, when you meditate, the result of the meditation is you feel peaceful and at ease, relaxed. But in order to have this result, you need mindfulness. So when you develop mindfulness, you'll find that there is a stress because your mind doesn't want to be mindful. Your mind wants to wander aimlessly, think aimlessly. And when you force it to stay with a mantra, it will fight, it will create stress in you, so you feel uncomfortable. But if you can persist and eventually your mind stops resisting, then the mind will become peaceful. But the practice of meditation, the goal is not just to be relaxed. The goal is to get rid of all your desire, which is the cause of all your bad feelings, the cause of your suffering, restlessness, worry, anxiety, agitation, fear. These will all be eliminated by the practice of vipassana. But yes, of course, if you want to relax, instead of going to a bar, to a pub to have a drink, instead you want to sit and meditate for half an hour, sure you can do that. But that's not the goal of Buddhism. The goal of Buddhism is to go beyond this. We want to end the endless round of rebirth. We don't want to come back again, because being born again will subject us to getting old, getting sick and die, and separation again. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The same person has a follow-up question. And the question is, there are also people who force the mind to concentrate on one point and they can also concentrate. Is this a correct method to use, Ajahn?
I don't understand the question. You said the person forced himself to be concentrated on one object. And then what?
Sorry, I think the same person, he asked about the relaxation earlier. So now he's asking, instead of people who can relax easily and meditate, the other kind of people, they force their mind to concentrate on one point. So is this a correct method, Ajahn?
See, each individual has different level of mindfulness. Some people might have developed a lot of mindfulness in their past life, so they might not need a mantra to force the mind to become peaceful and calm. They can just use their mindfulness, just telling the mind to stop thinking, and the mind will stop thinking. So each individual has different level of strength of mindfulness. So you have to find out for yourself how much mindfulness you have by meditating. See if you can just sit down and tell your mind to stop thinking without having to use a mantra. Or just watch your thought and stop your thought every time you start to think. If you can do this, you don't need a mantra. Some people have strong enough mindfulness just to watch the breathing, the breath. So each individual is different. So you have to find out yourself how much strength your mindfulness has.
Yes, Ajahn.
Okay.
Yes. The next question. Just now, Ajahn said that when we don't want to sit or meditate anymore, it means that the defilement is stronger than mindfulness. So what should we do to progress from this point? How do we train ourselves to have stronger mindfulness, Ajahn?
You can continue on practicing mindfulness by walking Jongkom. If you don't have to go to do anything, if you feel that sitting is too painful for you, you can start walking meditation instead and still developing mindfulness at the same time. If you use the mantra, continue on using the mantra while you walk. Keep walking until you feel very tired and you want to sit down. Then you come back and sit again. So this is what you have to do all the time. When you're not sitting in meditation, you have to develop mindfulness. Then your meditation will be longer. You can sit longer, and your calm and peace will be deeper, until eventually it gets to the bottom, to the deepest level. Okay.
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is related to chanting. The question is, can I replace meditation with chanting, and how can I overcome my daily challenges with chanting or meditation?
Chanting is like reciting the mantra. Only that the mantra is longer. Instead of one word, you chant many words, like the discourse of the Buddha in Pali, for instance. When you concentrate your mind on chanting, then you can stop your mind from thinking aimlessly. So you can find some peace, some calm from chanting. But it might not go in as deep as you would with your mantra or with your mindfulness of the breath. And once you know how to chant continuously, you can use chanting to overcome your challenges. When your mind feels bad, when you have to face something that you don't like to face, you can keep chanting inside to stop your mind from reacting negatively to the things that you have to face. Or if someone makes you mad, you can keep on chanting. When you chant, you'll forget the incident that makes you mad. And then the anger will disappear. Or when you are sad because you have lost someone, you can use chanting to stop your sadness. Just keep on chanting until you forget about the person that you have lost. Once it's no longer in your mind, then your mind will not be sad. So you can use this as a method of facing your challenges. But it's not as good as using insight. Because if you can use insight, you can eliminate all the difficulties that you have to face your challenges. You can face your challenges calmly and peacefully. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The rest of the questions are related to applications of the Dhamma in daily life. The first question is, how do we get our teenage age children above 17 years old to learn meditation?
First of all, you have to find out whether they want to learn or not. See, if they don't want to learn, then it's very difficult to force them to do it. But there are ways in which you might be able to get them to do it by doing it yourself, and maybe make it as a family activity, like eating together. So if you can do something like this from the time when they are much younger, they might be able to develop this ability to meditate. So when they become older, they can continue on with the meditation practice. But if they don't want to do it, then you can, even an elephant cannot force it to do it. Then you have to accept that some people are just not made for meditation. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is, we are advised to avoid foolish, unwholesome people. What if that person happened to be your spouse? What can I do?
Get a divorce. If you cannot get a divorce, then you just have to just leave that person alone. Don't try to change, don't try to manage them, and try not to let them lead you to their foolish way. And if they find it difficult to live with you, they might ask for a divorce eventually anyway.
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is, if my colleague keeps on preaching to me about other religions, what should I do or how should I react?
If you cannot stop him from talking, then you just have to listen. Or if you don't want to listen, you pretend to be listening and you might be reciting the mantra inside your mind. And let that person talk until he gets tired, then you'll stop talking. Because if you try to stop him from talking, he will resist and he wants to talk more. So it's better just to be still, not to react. Let the person talk all he wants to talk. Then after he gets tired, he'll stop talking. Okay.
Yes, Ajahn. Yes, Ajahn. The next question is related to handling children. And the question goes like this. We learn Dhamma and meditation so we are able to have right mind, right speech and action. But if our children at teenager age use violent, probably actions towards the parents, what can the parents do?
Well, you have to teach them, teach your children. This is your responsibility as the parent. Parents are the first teachers to their children. So if you don't teach them what's right or wrong, what's good or bad, then when they do something bad, you cannot stop them. But nowadays, I think parents don't want to teach. They send the children to school and let other people teach for them because they don't have time. They have to go to work, they have to earn money so that they can raise their family. So sometimes they neglect their most important duty is to teach their children what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. And teaching doesn't mean talking only. Teaching also have to be done by example. If you don't want your kids to be violent, you must not be violent yourself. You must not show them when you become violent. If you don't want them to smoke, you must not smoke. If you don't want them to drink, you must not drink. Once you have taught them all the things that you have to teach, and if they cannot absorb them, then you have to cast them away. They are helpless. So, and they will have to face the consequences of their ignorance. There's nothing you can do. It's the work of karma. Karma means having developed a certain kind of trait or character from past life. And this trait or character is embedded in your son and your daughter. And if this trait or character are very strong, then you might not be able to change it. It can only change from within. They must see the wrong of the trait or character. They must see the harm that the trait and character can produce for them. Then they might be able to change it. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn. The next question is also related to handling children, and it comes in two parts. The question is, how can I help my son, age 18 years old, who has bad thoughts, speech, and action, and he doesn't want to go to the temple? And can I become a nun to repay my past karmic actions?
Like I said about the sons, you can only teach them, and if they don't believe, they don't want to follow your teaching, there's nothing you can do. As far as paying your karmic action, karmic is something that you cannot repay. Once you have done something, your karma will eventually produce result. The only thing you can do is prepare yourself to meet the result of your karma. But if you don't want to have any result of your karma, then don't do any karma. Just sit and meditate. When you sit in meditation, you're not doing any karma. You are stopping your karma. But if you already have done a certain kind of karma, then all you could do is be prepared. Like Angulimala, the disciple of the Buddha, before he became enlightened, he was misled to go kill many people in order to make himself enlightened. But when he met the Buddha, and the Buddha said that's not the way to become enlightened. So he switched and he followed the teaching of the Buddha, and he eventually became enlightened. But when he traveled to towns and villages where people were killed by him, he usually got bad reception from people. Sometimes he got stoned. But he wasn't afraid. He wasn't disturbed because his mind has separated from the body, and whatever happens to his body doesn't bother his mind. So this is what you want to do, to develop your mind to become so strong that it doesn't matter what happened to your body. Your mind will not be affected. So you will not be afraid of any result of your past karma. Okay?
Yes, Ajahn, that happens to be the last of the questions we have today. Does Ajahn have any closing or last remarks for us?
Well, like I always said, keep on studying, keep on practicing. Don't give up. This is your best opportunity. It's only once in a while that you will become a human being and come across the teaching of the Buddha. It doesn't happen at every lifetime. Every time that you become a human being doesn't mean that there will be the Buddha's teaching waiting for you. So this is like might be the last bus that you can catch to go home, to go to Nibbana. If you don't catch it, then you might have to walk. And when you walk, it's going to take a long, long time. So I think you should give up everything and get on the bus, or else you will be walking, and who knows for how long before you get to Nibbana. All right? Let me give you the Anumodana before you pay respect.
Yes, Ajahn. Brothers and sisters, can you please put our palms together?
Yatha pura paripurenti sakaram evameva ito tinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samicatu sapphe purentu sankapa yanto panaraso yatha manichoti raso yatha sapitiyo vivachantu Sapparo ko vinasatu mate pavatavantarayo sukhi thi khayuko phava Apivatana silitsa nityang uttha pacayino Jataro dhamma vatanti ayuvano sukhang phalang.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Can we invite members of the Sangha to pay respects to Ajahn first? Brothers and sisters, let's pay respect to Tana Ajahn. First bow. Second bow. Third bow.
So I'll say good night and have a good dream.
Sorry, Ajahn, could we just check with you? Is the sound better this
Yes,
round?
very good. No echo, no feedback. Very clear what you say and what I say. I cannot hear my voice, but I can hear your voice clearly. Very good.
Yes, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn, very much. Good night, Ajahn.
Okay, I'll see you next week then.
Krap, sadhu, Ajahn.
Okay, good night.